Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'm gonna let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in, but in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds. We're gonna start with Angel Heaven. What's up, Angel? What it do? Family, there's an old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Let's see, Charles 13X. What up, Charles? Step in range. Step in range. What's up? What it do? Charles said, I keep my loved ones closest. That's real. That's real. Rican One Radio, Iowa in the building. What's up? Yeah. Salute. All right, fam, I'm going in. So Mase and Cameron was on their show today, or at least they released a video today, where Mase went down memory lane and he told this story of how Big L, R.I.P., set him up to be robbed, not once, but twice. And he was very detailed in the events that allegedly occurred back in the Gap in the early days when he first got on with Bad Boy. Mase said that on one occasion, he tried to get Fat Joe to ride down on him at the Tunnel nightclub back in the Gap. And then he was walking down the street, I think he said he was on 40th Street, with one of his buddies, Sham the God. Sham God or Sham the God? I think he said Sham God. In any event, yeah, Sham God. And he said out of nowhere, this Mexican dude run down on him and Sham and, to rob him. Had the gun on Sham. He thought about running, but, he knew that he figured like if he ran, the dude was probably going to shoot Sham. So he kind of stuck around and he reluctantly pulled off his Rolex watch, which he really didn't want to give up because that was his first Rolex watch. And he just did not want to give that watch up, but he finally gave it up. Long story short, the dude cocked the gun back, had itchy fingers, and he realized, let me go ahead and get this dude the watch. So he threw the watch on the ground. About this time, the police pull up. They capture the robber, and all's well ends well. But the police wanted Mase to come down and do a statement before they gave him his watch back. So Mase said for about 3-4 months, he refused to go down there. He said, I'm not giving no statement. Finally, they gave him the watch back without him having to provide a statement. He mentioned how a lot of people was not going to like him telling that story. They wasn't going to appreciate him telling that story. They was going to be mad about him telling the story because as Cameron put it, we tend to elevate people after they die, right? people end up with more followers, more likes, more subscribers after they die, which is something that Cameron, for the life of him, could not understand. And I co-sign that. I cannot understand. Why in the hell are you following a dead man? That is the epitome of snooping around, being nosy, and not and being a follower. Like, so many people die that go unrecognized. And the moment that they die, all of a sudden they're elevated to a martyr status. They become heroes and they can't do nothing wrong. Never did nothing wrong. So anyway, he spoke on that, how basically was talking about how Big L was pretty much unknown until he died. And that's true, because I didn't know who Big L was. Obviously, he was somebody that people knew in Harlem and in New York, in the New York area, but I didn't know who he was until he died. And I don't think most people who have come to know who Big L is knew who he was until he died. We didn't know his music until he died. Mase telling the story of how Big L had him robbed or tried to get him robbed might lend some credence to what many people say got L killed in the first place. Big L was allegedly running with killers. He's running around with killers. This is what they say. This is the word on the streets, including stories told by people who know him best, and including his own brother. Let me put a pickup of Mase and Big L right quick. So although people mourn Big L and they elevated him to his heroic status, like most of us, he was not a choir boy. He was not a choir boy. But he was running with some people who had the choir singing slow songs, if you catch my drift. Yeah, they say Big L was running around getting people jacked and doing jacking and running with killers and all kinds of stuff. So it came as no surprise for many people who really knew him, who was close to him, when he was murdered. A lot of people are saying that they were not surprised. There's a story out there about the event that occurred on the night that Big L was murdered. And I'm looking for that story now. Just had it. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here we go. So, this is the word on the streets, fam. This is something that has been repeated allegedly by Big L's own brother. So the story goes that this guy named Woodley is the one who killed Big L. Woodley, who happened to be a friend of Cameron's. And people were like questioning, why was Cameron at the funeral of the guy who killed Big L? Because this guy was eventually killed. Ain't that something? You live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? So they're saying that when Big L got killed, it really wasn't even about Big L. It was about Big Lee, his brother. They couldn't get at Big Lee in prison So they went after Big L instead. So this is allegedly Big L had a hit put on him from prison. Cameron said Big L tried to kill Woodley a week before. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. We do know that Big L was running around with the hitman that was killing off Woodley's crew or clique, allegedly. This is stuff that's already been out there, fam. This has already been out there. I'm just repeating what's already been put out there. So Big L was in the streets, allegedly doing street stuff, when really he was on the cusp of stardom. He should have been more focused on his career because he was about to sign with Rockefeller. So either way, both of these guys are dead now. I ain't got a dog in the fight, so I'm not picking a side one way or the other, but both of those guys are dead now. And it's a common story that you hear all too often, where guys who know each other end up killing each other, or people in their crew end up killing the other guy. Let me share something with you right quick, and I'm sure there's some people from my hood that's on this live right now. So I'm gonna share something with you right quick that I'm sure that anybody that's ever been in the streets can attest to. Most of the guys that I know that's been killed from my neighborhood was killed by somebody from my neighborhood. Usually somebody who they were once friends with, somebody at least they were close associates with, somebody who they knew. Most of them were killed by people they knew. And this is something to think about in real life. Most of us, when we have been hurt, we were hurt by people who knew us best, people who was closest to us. The people that are closest to you can hurt you because you got your guards down around them. Plus, they have access to you. They have the easiest access to you. So if they have bad intentions, then it wouldn't be difficult for them to bring you misery. This is why it's very, very important to be careful with who you surround yourself with. You keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. I ain't saying you got to hang out with them. That's metaphorically speaking, fam. Keep a watchful eye on them. Keep a very close eye on them. Going into the comments. Ruth Robinson, Mike Nice, Edward Pyfrom. What's up? Never heard that name, Pyfrom. Okay. Mario Gibson, War and Peace. And check this out, fam. Big L's brother, who the killers were allegedly after, who the killers were initially allegedly after, was eventually killed, and his son was also allegedly killed. It was like they was trying to wipe out the whole bloodline. This is not, it's important to mention, this is not an exclusive New York thing. This is not exclusive to New York. This type of stuff happened all over the world. But for some reason, it tends to happen a lot in big city America. I probably know at least a dozen stories that are very similar, at least personal knowledge. The thing about a lot of rappers, especially from back in the Gap, the 90s, you know, even the 80s, a lot of those rappers really did come from the streets. And they had one foot in the streets and one foot in the studio. And whether they lived or died or ended up with a life sentence was determined by how fast they could get that record out. Or it was determined by how fast the police could catch up with them or the killers could catch up with them. One foot in, one foot out. A lot of us that made it only made it because of drive, determination, and I would say luck and favor. That's it. A whole lot of luck and favor. One turn this way, one turn that way, you out of here. Life over. Somebody said, why would Big L set Mase up? Well, Mase said Big L just didn't like him. You know, I guess it was a race to see who could get on first or whatever. And Big L didn't like him. He said Big L was stealing his lyrics. Yeah. Say Big L stole some of his lyrics. So they got into it a couple of times and they had a heated exchange and they just didn't like each other. Big L brother name was Big Lee. So eventually Big Lee gets killed and his son Lil Lee gets killed. So allegedly, Big L, well, Cameron was close to Big L and the guy who killed him. Big L was childhood friends with his alleged murderer. See, that's going back to what I was saying, fam. How most of the guys that I know that's been killed from Fifth Ward, they were killed by dudes from Fifth Ward, dudes who they knew, so-called friends. Some of these guys they've been at their house, slept at their house, ate their parents' food, you know. Sometimes that envy runs so deep, it's so deep-seated. You never see it coming because this person has really been hating the entire time. Just somebody you call brother or sister. They've been hating the whole time. So when y'all get into a fight, y'all get into a disagreement, you thinking in your mind, maybe it's just an argument, or well, we got to fight, we'll fight. But they thinking kill. They want to take your life. That's how much hatred they have in their heart for you. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.